Oh boy. I've been struggling seeing so many homeless camps around Portland, Oregon. A couple more days till Christmas. Winter is coming. I find myself in a panic to want to help everybody. I'm one person. I look around and I just see so many bystanders. How can you let this happen? How can we go out and buy all these Christmas presents and drive by 50 homeless camps on the way to and from home? It's hard out there. And I know because I went through some of it. And I would say I had it easy compared to some of these people. Because at least I know how to be resourceful. Work gets done when we work together. Change is made when we communicate and partner up. Differences happen when we care. Yet there's so many people who can't even take care of themselves, let alone another person. Let alone investing in making sure that other person is okay. I don't know how we can let this continue. How can we be so idle when our brothers and sisters, aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, nephews, friends, acquaintances, strangers suffer so much? When I walked through the doors of my middle school, the words said, "It takes a village to raise a child." We are all still children at heart. We are all just trying to learn, to grow. We want to thrive. And these opportunities are taken from us. It's not that we aren't putting in the effort when and where we can. But a flower that is not watered cannot grow, but will wither over time as it prays for rain. People, when they first have a baby, will look at that child and experience some of the biggest moments of love they never thought was possible. I love this child. Is what I hear from a lot of parents. What happened? When we grow up, we just assume they're going to be okay by themselves. I look around and it doesn't look like we're doing a very good job right now. What happened? We can spend all day blaming this person or that person. Really, it's a systematic change that is needed. It's consensus brought on by a mass amount of population to put their foot down and say no more. We will take care of each other. Because that's what matters. We have to choose love. We have to choose love for the people that even hurt us. We have to choose love for the people who we have grudges against. We have to choose love for ourselves, who we are probably the most harsh on. But we also need to choose love for people we will never meet. For we are all interconnected. We are all on the same rock right now. We are moving throughout this universe together on one ship, and we are doing a terrible job at helping each other. We can do better. It's possible. What would it take for people to look around and be like, this is the time I will be present. This is the time I will give of myself to another. There's a difference between being a servant and being a slave. Servitude can be a choice. Slavery is exploitation. But how can you give of yourself if you don't even have enough? Trying to fill others' cups when yours has been empty for years. I've met the innovators. I've met the dreamers, the builders, the visionaries. One of the most common things I find is they're underfunded. They're not networked. They don't have the skills, the talents, or resources by themselves to pull off what they want to do. And the ones that might have all those things might be in a tent right now, worrying about flooding and how to get warm, to put food in their stomach. People will die and have. Homelessness is a health crisis. It's a mental health crisis. It's a crisis. And it's a national crisis right now. One of my favorite phrases is, with death comes rebirth. The seasons, December, winter. A lot of things die or go into hibernation. When spring comes, new life, new energy, new hope comes. I'm not sure how many people are going to make it to spring. By not activating and giving a damn and putting in time, effort, physical labor, we might as well be committing murder. I'm sure people think, no, it's not my responsibility. Sure, okay. But turning a blind eye is not going to help either. There's so many people who have a disability that are on the street waiting for money that'll never come. There are people who've been ostracized because of poor decisions that will never see help. Those are the ones who give up. There may even be people that are like, good riddance. Then to you who hurt you, that you think that's okay to think. When the body is damaged, when the body has a virus or has bacteria, our body sends out an immune system response, a healing algorithm to help cure any ailment. But sometimes we gotta get help and go to a doctor because we cannot take care and take on as much as our body has been going through. And like society, it is a living organism that has to work together to be able to meet people's inevitable human needs, which is housing, which is food, which is being safe from the elements. When we ignore our contribution to the healing process, the body will die if left unchecked. We don't have to. I keep thinking, who do I have to talk to make change? What conversations do I need to have? Another phrase I like is awareness alone is curative. If you don't know a problem exists, you can't make a change towards it because you don't even have a compass. You have no direction. I could be passionate all I fucking want, every day, all day. But when would it make a change? I have tons of brilliant ideas. I have plans. I have a vision and everything. I have connections. Why isn't any of it working? And when I do try and communicate what I have to other people, sometimes it doesn't translate. Sometimes people are like, well, it sounds like you're trying to build 800 houses at a time and you have one brick in your hand. Well, yeah. I drew the blueprints. But I'm not a construction company. I heard this thing in a group chat I was a part of today on Clubhouse. And it talked about imagining your life, your data as a house. And a person can see a little bit about you by outside of your place. And if they step through that threshold into your home, they can learn more about you. They can see the books on your shelves. They can see what you have absorbed information-wise, what it makes and what makes up you. Now, these people are probably not going to go look at your tax records. They're not going to look at your birth certificate. They won't look at the fine details of what makes up who you are because that's more private. But this whole metaphor with the house and oneself and what makes up an individual, it could be used in so many other metaphors and analogies. You take all of the houses around you, all of these people, their lives, their existence. What about the person in a tent? Who might have had water damage to those personal documents? What does that translate to? The people whose camp got picked up and thrown away into the trash because some official said no more. Where you're stuck with just the clothes on your back. What about those people? With humans, it is impossible to ignore that we need a space to exist on this planet. We need to make room for people. We need to start looking at housing not as a luxury item and as an investment item, but as a thing that actually helps people. We need to stop saying, look at me, and what I've done in this beautiful building and what I can do with this building. I can show off with what I've invested in. No. We need to invest in our people. They are living, human, breathing people. Technology is advancing so fast, so rapidly. It takes a lot just to catch up if you unplug, and a lot of people in a tent have unplugged, trust me. At least it did for me. I fell so far behind in understanding technology that when I finally did find housing and stable living, it took so much extra mental bandwidth just to fucking plug back in. I had mood swings. It was hard and frustrating. It required patience and understanding from people around me. It took help. I had to be adopted by people, if you will. Like a stray cat covered in fleece. It's not going to get better unless we start to care. Until we all start to care. There's a point people reach of hopelessness. That's when things aren't great. And not everyone survives it. Now, these moments could be a defining moment of change and no longer tolerating what has been and raising the bar and expectations of what our baseline even is. And we might go after it, but Jesus Christ, we make it so fucking difficult. It doesn't have to be this fucking difficult. It doesn't. We have everything we need right now in society to make things right. So why isn't it? We have an archaic system built for a different purpose than what we need. We're trying to fly to the moon in a 57 Chevy. It's just not gonna fucking work. We need builders, not fixers. We need to water the grass where we stand because that's how it gets greener. Whether that's in your home life or your work life, we need to heal. We need to nourish ourselves and our people around us. We need to pull out the noxious weeds that are choking out what feeds the environment, the animals, the people. or we could let it go to shit. We could step into our favorite fucking movies of apocalyptic times. If we want. Sounds fun, right? Well, in my personal experience, it's not. Why wouldn't we want to at least try and find our own utopia on planet Earth? Why do we let people's egos get in the way of our own survival? We let hoarders take over instead of finding balance and what is enough. I want balance. I want homeostasis. I want calm. I can want all day. It takes action. It takes planning. It takes strategy. It takes money. It takes time. If one person looks around and sees garbage everywhere, how long would it take them to clean it up? If 1,000 people saw garbage around them and picked it up, how long would it take them? If 1,000,000 people saw garbage around them and picked it up, what would happen? It takes massive action. It takes collective action. It takes diversity, inclusion, equity to make these things possible. I really hope more people get involved. I really do. As one person trying to make change, we are ill-equipped. But imagine the future we could dream and make a reality if we worked together. I think it's possible. I do. Or I wouldn't be doing the work I am.